Um, so I'm very excited to be here today. I got a couple of updates for you all. Thank you, Dr. Fulton, for that introduction. My name is Chamu. I'm a school counselor. I just finished my first year here at Bolsa. It's exciting. It's awesome. It is challenging, but it's amazing to be able to come to work every single day. So I'm very excited to be here today. I got a couple of updates for you all. Thank you, Dr. Fulton, for that introduction. My name is Chamu. I'm a school counselor. I just finished my first year here at Bolsa. It's exciting. It's awesome. It is challenging, but it's amazing to be able to come to work every single day. Thank you all for coming out, even in the rain. Thank you for being out here, taking the time and being invested in the things that we do here at Bolsa, which are amazing. So thank you, once again, thank you. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with some updates with regards to college applications. Then we'll talk a little bit about financial aid, some scholarships, and then mental health for a little bit. And then I'll give you guys an overview about what the FAFSA application looks like, just because there are several changes for this school year. So, first things first, how many of you guys have seniors, 12th grade students? No. One senior, okay, perfect. And then the rest of you, so you guys all have underclassmen, right, 9, 10, and 11. So this will eventually be important to you one day, but it's really good to be exposed to it now, so we can learn what it is and see what it's like. So all of our seniors who were eligible to apply to Cal States and UCs, they completed their applications by November 30th of last year, right? So November 30th of 2023. In order to be eligible for a Cal State, right, they need a 2.5 GPA minimum. That's for them to be able to apply. Doesn't mean they won't get in, and we tell them that all the time, but it allows them to be eligible to apply and for their application to be looked at. So minimum 2.5 for Cal States. For UCs, it's a minimum of a 3.0 GPA. Same thing to apply, doesn't guarantee they get in, but it is a minimum requirement for them to be able to have their application reviewed, right? So all of our students who are already A through G eligible and said, you know what, we are gonna go to a 4-year university, that's what we wanna do, they've already submitted all of their applications, they're already done with all that stuff. So at this point right now, February 1st, right, of 2024, most of our students are waiting for their admission decisions. Most of them are waiting for them to receive that email that'll say, congratulations, welcome to Cal State Fullerton, welcome to Cal State Long Beach, welcome to UCI, all those kind of things, right? So most of our, or all of our students that did apply to Cal States and UCs, they've already submitted their application, they're all done. So at this moment, they are waiting to receive their application notice, right? We are seeing already that a lot of non-impacted schools, such as Cal State LA, Cal State Dominguez Hills, Cal State Stanislaus, a lot of those schools that are non-impacted, meaning there's not a lot of students going there or there's a lot of space available, they are already sending out their decisions. So we already have a lot of avid students that applied. They've already received a ton of notices saying, congratulations, welcome to Sacramento State, welcome to Cal State LA. So that's really cool, really surprising to see. So a lot of these non-impacted schools, like I said, are already releasing their decisions, and a lot of them are already kind of starting to figure out what they're doing, where they're going to come. A lot of the bigger schools that have been more impacted in the Cal State systems, like your Cal State Fullerton, your Cal State Long Beach, your San Diego State, those schools receive a ton of applications that it takes them a little bit longer to process all of it. So a lot of those schools, they'll come in usually by the end of towards the end of this month, maybe early March as well. So if any of those students did apply, then usually it takes a little bit longer for them to receive their notice. But like I said, the non-impacted schools, they're pretty quick about it. They get through that, and a lot of them have received their acceptance letter. So that's really, really exciting to see that, because they get to see, right, where they're going in, where they've been accepted, that possibility of potentially going to that school, which is really amazing. And then for our UCs, usually that's a bit more competitive when it comes to that. It's more competitive, like I said, with the GPA requirements, being 3.0. There's a lot of top students that apply to those schools, so those schools take a little bit longer. Those schools usually send out their notices sometime in March. So around that time, that's when a lot of our seniors will get that decision notice of, congratulations, you've been accepted, and if they don't get in, they are able to appeal, although it's not very likely that they get in regardless, but it's possible. But usually in March, that's when they send out the notices, and that's when they let them know, hey, congrats, this is what you're doing. So that's what our seniors are currently doing now. So they're in the waiting. A lot of them are in the waiting. Like I said, some of them already received their notice. Some of them are in. Some of them they might want to go to Sacramento State and they're all set. That's where they wanted to go. They're in. They're good to go. Boom. But a lot of our students do stay local, right? They go to the Cal State Fullerton, Cal State Long Beach, UCI, UCLA in this Southern California area. So if that's the case, a lot of them will be waiting for their admission decision. So hopefully in the coming weeks we get some good news and they're able to attend their dream school. We also do community college here as well. All of our seniors, I think we just had a meeting yesterday with our 12th grade teachers. I think all of our seniors, except for like maybe 10 to 15 seniors, didn't apply for a community college, and that's for like specific reasons as to why. But we make all of our seniors apply to a community college just in case they don't get into their dream school or a four-year university, right? So let's say they applied to Fullerton, Long Beach, San Diego State, and Cal Poly Pomona, right? Those are all pretty competitive schools. In the event they don't get in, we use the community college sort of kind of as a backup plan for those students that weren't really sure of like, I don't know if I'm gonna get in, I'm gonna give it a shot. Yeah.
I have a question. What if they go to the 2-year community college and they want to transfer to a
four-year university? Yeah, so a lot of our students will do that as well. Yeah, but we make all of our seniors, because we get a lot of students that say, well, I'm not gonna go to community college because I'm gonna go to UCLA. But there's never a guarantee that you're gonna get admitted into UCLA because that's a really tough school.
Do they still fill out an application?
Yes. So we make all of our students try to apply for a community college. Like I said, there's a few that don't. That's a very rare exception. And at that point, if they're not in, the counselors already had a conversation with them and their parents saying, why aren't they applying? Oh, for this reason, or he's gonna move to, I don't know, to another country, or he's gonna just go straight to work, or he's gonna join the military. Then we check out those boxes and then we can go ahead and proceed with the next step. But we make sure all of our students apply at least to one community college in the event they don't get into their dream school. And then the students who aren't gonna be going straight to a Cal State or a UC or any private university, then we help them as well apply for a community college. So if that's their plan, if they come in and say, hey, Mr. Chamu, my goal is to go to OCC and then transfer to Cal State Fullerton, perfect, we'll do that too. So all of our, we're gonna go out and target all of our students, right? Not just the top students or the low performing students. We're gonna go through every single student and make sure that they all apply at least to one community college. So that's what we've been doing. And like I said, pretty much all of our seniors have applied at this point. And if they change their mind, let's say they like OCC, but then they come back in the spring, they're like, you know what, maybe I want to do Golden West because I like this other program. We can still go ahead and submit an application. We want to do it the sooner the better, just because a lot of these community colleges offer what is known as priority registration, which is really, it's kind of a big deal when you're at a college, because sometimes these schools have 15, 20,000 students, and there's not enough space for a specific classroom, right? So most of our incoming freshmen at the college level, they need to take, let's say, English 101, right? The introductory course to English. Sometimes there's not enough sections available, and then students have to find a class at a crazy time, right? So let's say that they fix their schedule, they're coming Mondays and Wednesdays, but they couldn't find that English 101 class, and the only time it was available was Tuesday from 6:45 to 8:30, then since that's the only thing available, then they'll go Tuesday from 6:45 p.m. to 8:45 p.m. And now they have to do that, once a week because they didn't have that priority registration. So priority registration, if they meet certain criteria, such as creating so when they apply, they create a portal, then they complete their graduation plan, and then they complete an orientation usually with a counselor from that school. Once they complete those three things, some community colleges will allow them to access priority registration, meaning they'll be the first in line to sign up for their classes in that semester. So once the registration opens up, then they can go ahead and start signing up for those specific colleges or those classes, and it's really cool because they get the first pick or the first priority. And like I said, when you're in college, kind of a big deal. I went to Cal State Fullerton, and they offered priority registration for first semester freshmen. And it was really cool because I was able to pick my classes in the way that I wanted. I didn't have to go to school every single day, which is really cool, right? You get to pick your days and whatnot. But then in my second year, because of I wasn't doing as well academically. I was placed on academic probation, so I lost some of those benefits that I had. And then I had to kind of start at the bottom again. So I was one of the last ones to pick. So there was a semester or two when I had classes all over the place. Like some of them were Monday, Wednesday in the morning, and then I had like a 4-hour gap, and then I had a class in the afternoon. And it's like, what am I gonna do for those 4 hours? You know, you're just kind of there on campus wasting time. So it's really, really, really cool. So if you do have seniors that are planning to do community college, that's something you want to be on top of them, make sure they meet those deadlines, and we will too. We'll make sure we follow up. Like today, our counselors will be meeting with seniors to create their college education plan. So we're gonna have reps from OCC, Santa Ana College, and I believe Golden West coming out and meeting with our seniors so they can work on their plan. And all they do is they sit down and they select like the classes that they want to take in the next 2 years. So if their plan is just to go to community college and get a degree and that's it, then they set them up with those classes to be done. If their plan is to transfer to a 4-year, then they set them with those classes to be eligible to transfer when the time comes. So it's really, we walk them step by step, we guide them step by step, and we try to prepare them as best as we can, so they can, you know, go out and achieve what they're setting out to do. So yeah, that's kind of how we do the community college, and then again, a lot of Cal States and UCs will offer priority registration as well to first-time freshmen, but you just kind of have to look at each campus how they do it. Yes, sir.
Could you not to put you on the spot, but
You did.
I'm gonna do it anyway. Kind of talk about the difference in community college, the Cal States, and the UCs, and maybe address the good, bad, or
Oh yeah, definitely.
indifference of them.
Of course, I had the privilege to give a conference at the Latinos Unidos conference a few weeks ago, and that's exactly what I touched about. So I gave our students an overview of Cal State's, UC's, community college, and private universities. A lot of students, we find that they kind of get confused on what that really is because they don't really know the differences. So to start off, the community college, that is traditional community college is a 2-year program. So what students do is they can obtain a certain certificate or associate's degree through a community college if they do the 2-year route through them. That's usually what it goes. It can take a little bit longer depending on the time they take to sign up for the class and complete their courses. But if I wanted to get an associate's in psychology, I can do so. And then if there are jobs that are available that have pathways or careers in associates in psychology, then I could get a job and start working, right? What we find now is that a lot of these jobs are requiring higher degrees, a bachelor's and advanced degree, a master's. So some students will usually go the associate's route first, get their 2-year degree, and then transfer to a 4-year university and get their bachelor's. At the community college level, you can also obtain certificates, and that's really cool because now these community colleges are starting to incorporate trades, right? So like welding, some community colleges offer welding, some I believe OCC offers an aviation program. So if they want to be a pilot, they can do it in like 2 years, be done and start working for some of these bigger companies, right? So they have, they're starting to incorporate these trades. Maybe you've heard of these certain trade schools, right? Like, I don't know, Anthem Career College, UEI, all these kind of different kind of trade schools. A lot of them, we do want to be careful with them, and because a lot of them are not accredited, meaning they don't have a backing of an organization saying, hey, you guys are legit, like you guys are a real organization. A lot of our schools, like here at Bolsa, right, we are accredited through WASC, right? That's the organization that says, yeah, what you teach, the diploma you give, it has value, and we've checked it out. A lot of these schools, a lot of these trade schools don't really have anything really backing them up, and then when the students get their certificate, they say, oh, I'm here to apply for this job, and they're like, where did you get this from? You know, this isn't valid. And a lot of the prices for these schools are really expensive, so we do try to look out for those types of schools. There are some trade schools that are really good, but again, if seniors have those interests, we want to meet with them and have a conversation and make sure that the pathway that they're following will lead them to an eventual job or career.
Is there a place where we can find out which schools or which are qualified?
Which ones are?
Yeah.
Not that I know of, but I can definitely ask, and then I can share that with Dr. Fulton. If we have that, we can share that out. But yeah, good question. We'll bring that up. Yes, but a lot of these community colleges, what they're doing is they're incorporating trades now into their programs. for cheaper. Because a lot of these schools, these trade schools are expensive because they're private schools, they do kind of what they want to do. But community colleges will incorporate these trades and then be able to offer them at a much cheaper price. So what the first thing we tell our seniors is if you are thinking of a trade, check the community college route first. If OCC Golden West offers a specific program you want to do, let's look at that first. And if it's not available, then we'll see what else is out there in terms of a trade school. Because yes, some trade schools might be really good. They might offer a really good program and then connect them directly to a job. That's awesome. But we do want to make sure everything is good to go. But if you can save money and get it at a cheaper price at a community college, get the same degree, might be worth just doing that. So at the community college, you can get a trade certificate, you can get an associate's degree, and with that associate's degree, you can either major in like a specific degree, like a psychology, mathematics, business, or you can get what is known as an associate's degree for transfer, or an ADT, that Cal States and UCs will take, and that lets them know that you've decided to start at a community college and then eventually transfer to a four-year university. So those are the types of degrees that you can get at a community college. For the most part, they're 2 years, but like I said, they could take a little bit longer depending on what you do. And the cost is a lot cheaper than these Cal States and UCs. The tuition, I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but it is pretty cheap when compared to other tuition for other universities. So a lot of our students, or not a lot of our students, but a lot of students will go the 2-year route, save money, especially if they don't qualify for financial aid, and then transfer over and then pay for the last 2 years that they have left. So they're able to save that money, transfer, and then pay for the rest. But if you're able to go straight to a 4-year and you're going to be covered, you might as well take advantage of that opportunity. And then again, if you can, or if it's not possible, or if that's just the route you want to take, you're more than welcome to do so as well. Once we get to the university level, like the Cal States, the UCs, and then all these private schools like USC, Chapman University, these schools are, they offer what is known as a bachelor's degree. So after about 4 years of education, give or take, right, you will receive a bachelor's degree. So that would be the next level on top of an associate's. Most entry-level jobs that require a degree do require a bachelor's degree in order to be eligible to apply to that position. After that, you can go ahead and take on an advanced degree, such as a master's. You can receive a doctorate. Some of them have what is known as postdoctoral training or fellowships, depending on what you want to do, the specific major. But that's where you would get your bachelor's and then any other advanced degree that you want to take. But in terms of like trade certificates, that's the community college route, associate's community college route, and then all the Cal States, UCs, and all the rest of the schools offer your bachelor's, master's, doctorate degrees. The differences between Cal States and UCs, so in California, we have two main systems, two public systems of higher education. We have our Cal State system and we have our UC system. The Cal States are schools that they say that they're more hands-on, right? So our teachers, right? That's where a lot of our teachers will go because those are hands-on schools. The UCs are more scientific, more data, more research-driven. So a lot of money, a lot of like that research dynamic goes there. So they say if you're not sure where to go and you're thinking of doing like a career that's hands-on, you might want to try the Cal State route. If you're thinking of going into research, you might want to do the UC route. But again, it all depends on what the student wants to do, right? They might choose a certain career and it might be better at the UC level, or it might just be at the Cal State level. So both systems are public, they're not private, so they're basically funded by the state of California. I will say that Cal States are a little bit cheaper than the UCs. I believe Cal States told us that their tuition for the following year, 24-25, will be about $7,400 for the entire year. And then for a UC, I believe it's about $40,000 in total. So there are some differences. So we do like to tell our students to keep that in mind. But again, we don't want the cost to dissuade them from applying or saying, oh man, I can't go there because I can't pay for it. Because we do have financial assistance. So we have FAFSA, we have California Dream Act, we have scholarships, different kind of loans if necessary. So we don't want to let that be a factor that determines if they apply or not. We'll determine that, later down the school year. But we do want them to give it a shot. That's what they want to do. And if it's possible, have them apply and see where they end up after that. So that's kind of the difference between those two. Cal State's, like I said, a little bit cheaper. UC is a little bit more expensive. They both offer bachelor's, master's degrees, and again, they're both public universities. And then again, you have your private universities. So these schools basically they kind of do sort of what they want to do because they're their own bosses. They kind of really are in charge of their own system of what they do. So like USC as a private university, people give their money for that school to be funded. It's not like the state of California or the US government gives them any money. It's their own people, they rule it, they're the ones who control it. And that's why sometimes the tuition for those schools are a little bit more expensive. So for USC and incoming freshmen, the average tuition is about $80,000 for 1 year. So it's a little bit crazy out there, right? Same thing with like Chamu University, about $60,000-$70,000. So they are a little bit expensive. Or a lot expensive actually. But again, there is financial assistance. A lot of students who go into USC their first year will qualify for financial assistance through the school. So they do have that support out there. So again, we don't want to dissuade any students from applying or saying, I can't pay for that, you know. We want to allow them to get to that point, and then once the time comes, we'll figure out the financials down the road. If they qualify for any financial aid, any scholarships, any grants, any loans, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's kind of the one thing as well. And then same thing at the privates, you can get your bachelor's, master's, doctorate, any advanced degree. That's what they really offer there. But what we do with our students, all of our students really from the 7th grade year and beyond, we have this program known as CCGI, California Career Guidance, whatever the last letter might stand for. But what we do is we go into the classrooms and we talk to them. We say, hey, what do you want to do? What are you thinking about? Most students say, I have no idea. I didn't know I was going to be a counselor till about maybe my 2nd or 3rd year at Fullerton because I really had no idea what to do. I graduated from Santiago. I went in and declared. I had no idea what to do. I was like, I don't know. But I was already working at Santiago as an avid tutor, so I got to work with students, I got to work with teachers, I got to work with some administrators at the time, and I say, hey, this is pretty cool, I kind of like this, I like working with students. So then that thought kind of started coming in, right? But most students say, I don't know what I'm going to do. We get a few like, oh, I'm going to be this, and that, boom, and they're all said, oh, that's awesome, right? But we have a lot of students that are like, I don't know, I'm not sure, I like this, I like that, but I don't know if I can see myself doing this or doing that. So what we do is every year we, and again, this starts at the 7th grade level, we have them take these kind of assessments that are research driven, right? Based on their characteristics, on their personality, on the things that they like to do. And then they start to find careers or pathways that might be of interest to them, right? So if a student is very artistic, they might get a career that's very related in that field. If a student likes to work with their hands, very hands-on, they might get a career working in that. If they like to do research, be investigative, right? They might get a career in that area. And then some students will be like, oh, this is really cool. And what's cool about the program is they have all the information on there. Once you click on the specific program, right? So if you click on like, I don't know, psychologist, right? You click on the name, and then you get to see a breakdown of everything, all the responsibilities, the type of jobs, the job growth in the future, if it's expected to grow, if it's expected to decline. You're able to see the average salary. You're able to see the universities that are part of it. Yes, you're able to see the universities that offer specific programs to get to that place. And it's really cool because they get to see that breakdown of everything of what we have and what they offer. And then some students will say, oh, I like this, so then they save it, right? And then the next year they do it again, because the next year when they come back, their interest might change, right? They might say, I don't want to do that anymore, so they can remove that from their list. Maybe they find something else. Or they come back the next year and they realize, oh shoot, I still like this. This is really cool to me. So they continue to incorporate that, right? And as they continue, they build on it. And once they get to their senior year, they're like, oh, throughout the entire time, this stood out to me. As the years have gone by, I've researched it, I've understood it a little bit more. This is something that I might want to do. And then either if there's something, like let's say there's they want to do computer science, right? They find computer science. Then when we meet with them here, they say, oh, I like computer science. I found that on the interest profile that I took. Guess what? We offer computer science here on campus. So now you take the class, if it's available in your schedule, and then you let us know how you do, right? So if you like that class, you might go in and be like, oh man, I love computer science. This is something I might want to do. Or after like a month, you'll be like, oh, I hate this class. I can't do this, right? And then we have those conversations. Okay, maybe it's not computer science. Maybe it's something else. right? So that's something that we try to incorporate, and like I said, we start that at the middle school level, 7th, 8th, and then here we'll do it their 9th to 12th grade year. We'll have them take that interest profiler and hopefully help them build on something that they might want to do. Of course, by the time they graduate, we will have students who have no idea still what they want to do. That's okay. Most of them will apply as undeclared, meaning I don't know what major I'm going to take. So then we hope when they get to the next level at the community college or at the Cal State or at the UC, they're able to take different classes, and that's what we tell them. Make sure you sign up for different electives, because over there you're able to choose basically whatever you want to take. So if you, hi, welcome here. So you're able to take whatever you might want to do, and if there's something of interest there, then you walk in, right? So let's say you take like an introductory to geology class, right? The study of the earth, study of rocks and all that kind of stuff. They go in there, let's say they like that class, maybe they start thinking about that program, and then that's how they kind of grow that interest. So we do tell our students to explore, to make sure they research, and then when they get to the college level, they start to find out what they might want to do, right? Join clubs, join different groups, different programs, to kind of help them navigate and get to where they want to be. But yeah, that's kind of an overview of the community college, Cal States, the UCs, and private universities. If you have any questions, let us know. Give us a call, give me a call, or we can connect you to your student counselor as well, and provide that support. But it's a really exciting time, especially right now with our seniors, just kind of getting to see where they go, just seeing the reaction of how happy they get when they get that acceptance letter, and then even those students who don't get in, just then realizing, oh man, I just didn't make it, and you kind of like, you help them pick them up a little bit, but you know, they realize like, okay, it didn't happen now, but what's next, right? What else we can do? And that's our job, to kind of guide them and kind of show them the route that's supposed to follow. Okay, you didn't get into UC Berkeley, but what can we do, right? So what's the next plan? Okay, we do 2 years community college, and we try to transfer out, right? So again, it's really exciting. It's an awesome time. So it's really good. Are there any questions related to community college, Cal States, UCs, the college process app right now, what we're doing? And this is true for all 7 of our high schools. We're all following that same process. So we're all making sure all of our students are on track. So any specific questions about that? All right. The next thing I want to talk about is our financial aid, known as FAFSA or the California Dream Act. If you know or you don't, right? Students who have a Social Security, use that Social Security to apply for FAFSA or federal assistance, right? For our students, our population of students that don't have a Social Security or are under the DACA program or undocumented, then we also have here in California financial assistance known as the California Dream Act. So it's really cool because we get to allow all of our students to go to higher education, right? Regardless of their immigration status or whether they be undocumented or not. One of the things that did happen this year for FAFSA is that they kind of revamped their application and they changed it up. So they had to kind of delay the day that the application was going to open up. Usually it opens sometime in the fall, but because it was brand new, they changed everything up. They actually shut the whole system down and they didn't open it until December 31st, so the last day of the school year, or the last day of the year, just because they were kind of getting glitches, errors, mistakes, bugs in the entire system. So they shut it down. They said, we're going to open it sometime towards the end of the year. They didn't really give us a date until it was December 31st. I think the day before everybody started getting a notice of like, oh, it's coming tomorrow, it's coming tomorrow. And sure enough, it came that 31st, but it was all glitchy and all messed up and just errors everywhere. So our plan here on Bolsa was to start it the day that we came back from winter break, that Tuesday. That was going to be our plan. Unfortunately, when we came back, that Monday was an on-student day. Our counseling team sat down and we looked at the application. It was still very buggy, very glitchy. So we made an executive decision to push the date to the end of January, so last week. Because we said, you know what, if there's too many mistakes, if there's too many errors, our students are just going to be there not really knowing what to do. We're not even going to know what to do because it's brand new, it's all over the place. So we said, you know what, let's push the date and wait a little bit. So that's what we did. We pushed it. We went in last Friday. We went into students' economics and civics classes, and that's where we launched. what we did notice is that we had really good success with most, if not all of our students. Most of them were able to start it, able to complete it. And to this point, we already have a good amount of students that have already completed their financial application, whether it be the FAFSA application or the California Dream Act. They are starting to complete it and get that done. So it was really good to kind of push that weight a little bit. Once the bugs and the issues resolved, then we went back in there, we started the application, and we launched that. So to prepare that, in December, what we did is we created something known as our FSA ID, and that serves as our electronic signature. And then we went ahead and did the actual application. So what happens now is the student has an FSA ID, they complete the application, and then their parent needs to also create an FSA ID and complete their section of the application. Even if a student, so this is different for this year, right? There's a lot of changes. In previous years, if a student has a Social Security and he completes his financial aid application, but the parent doesn't have a Social Security number, right? What the parent would have to do is they would print out a piece of paper, they would have to manually, sign it on there with a wet signature, mail it to the commission, and wait like a couple of months for them to finally receive it and say, oh, okay, you're all good to go, now you're approved. That's what they would do. This year, they're trying to change it a little bit. So this year, a parent, regardless of their status, if they're documented or not, they are able to create now that FSA ID, that electronic signature, and be able to sign in that moment on a computer. So it's trying to save that time, right? Those 2 months, those 8 weeks, and get that signature done in that moment. So now students, if they're doing their FAFSA and parents don't have a social, it's okay because they can create a portal now and then submit or sign electronically now, which is really cool. But again, they did have their glitches, they had their bugs, so that's something that they were working on. So yeah, the financial application is different now, and us as counselors, we're still trying to navigate it and learn it. We also have parent workshops after school, so when your student is a senior, we will offer that to you as well. You're able to bring your students here, and then after school, the counselors are there, and we help you complete your financial aid application as well if you have any questions or any concerns. And then so on Tuesday was the first one that we had after school. We had about maybe like 20, 25 students. We had about 5 to 7 parents in there, just getting it all done. And it's really cool just being able to see that and working with them and getting that done. So once they submit their FAFSA or their California Dream Act, then the commission will process it, and then in a couple of weeks after that, they will start getting their, all right, come on in. They'll start getting their report of how much they're gonna be getting, how much every school is gonna be offering them. And do keep in mind that every school, what they offer is a little bit different. So what the financial package that they get at UCI might be a little bit different of what they offer them at UCLA if they get into both schools. So do keep that in mind. But yeah, they'll be getting that in a couple of weeks. And they'll be able to, after that, then they'll be able to decide of where they want to go, right? Let's say they don't get what they were expecting to, or the certain amount that they thought, then maybe that eliminates some schools from the running, right? Maybe it's just a little too expensive and they just can't afford it because they didn't get a ton of financial assistance and they didn't get a lot of scholarships, and parents don't have a lot of money to just be throwing at them and say, hey, here, go pay for your school, right? So then maybe that changes their plans a little bit. Or maybe there was a student that thought maybe I can't really go there because I can't afford it, but then when they get their financial assistance package, they say, oh shoot, they're offering me all this money, vámonos, let's go over there, right? And then they're in. So that's something that we will be looking at for them in the coming weeks as well, the type of the assistance that they will be getting.
What are the things that us parents need to gather in order to?
Yeah, great question. So to create the FSA ID, you do need your social security number, so the student will need theirs, and then the parent will need their social security number as well. And then just make sure you have like a personal email, your cell phone available, your correct address, mailing address, all that kind of stuff. And then it will ask for your, so this year we're asking for the 2022 tax returns, so your 1040 for 2022. And then it'll ask you, the questions will ask you, and they'll guide you, say how much did you make or what was the income level, and then you'll go ahead and input that on the actual application. So it walks you through it step by step. But yeah, next year, so the next year it'll be 2023. It's always a year behind, right? So it's a year before that. And then that's basically all the information you need to have on hand. Just like we tell our students, make sure you save that password because it's really hard to reset that. Because if you lose it or you can't log in, then you have to call them, and then sometimes they take forever because I don't know why.
So whatever the amount they will qualify is based on the parent's income?
For the most part, yes. Yeah, they'll let you know after that. So usually when you submit, so what we're seeing is that when a student submits, there's something known as the SAI, the student, something index. So there's a number that they get. The lower the number to 0, that means that's how much parents are expected to contribute to them. So if it's 0, that means based on what you submitted, parents can't pay for anything. Therefore, the government or whoever's there is going to be paying the majority of it. If the number is higher because parents make X amount of money, and let's say it's like 8,000 or whatnot, then they're saying, oh, based on what you say, your parents can pay up to $8,000, so what we're giving you is less because your parents can pay this, right? Sometimes that's not necessarily the case, so sometimes you can appeal, but again, based off of those taxes, they'll go ahead and check that, and they'll monitor that, and then they'll give the students a report of what they need to submit.
How old do the students have to be able to like do their FAFSA on their own, like not to get their parents, involved in there?
I mean, usually after they're 18. I mean, here usually most of them are 17 and whatnot. But even after they're 18 or 19, they can still come back and oh, you mean like your part? Like
Yeah, like
them
the
being
parents.
I'm sorry.
Because sometimes they ask for the, the tax forms. And
Oh,
they're
okay.
like, oh, because of the parents gaining this much, like now the student instead,
Yeah,
like they don't get enough,
That I think it's until they're marked independent or they're no longer under your taxes. So if they're like 21 and they're lived out, they're doing their own thing,
tax?
then that's different. Yeah, but as long as they're under your household and they are your dependent, they would still be under
So
yours.
even though they live under the household and they do their own tax, can they do it by their own?
It might be possible, yeah, if they are marked as independent. Yeah, but I'm not too sure how that works on the specifics of that.
Yeah,
But
I think they have to be they have to be declared independent from their parents, and most kids don't qualify to be independent of their parents when they're in college. We can.
Yeah, but I think it's an
Send that
indicator
link.
is if they do their own taxes and they file on their own, that might be an indicator of them being marked as independent.
Because it doesn't necessarily mean that they have to pay a high amount of rent, right, where
Right.
they live,
No,
right?
yeah.
Because they're on their own.
Yeah, yes, for the most part, yeah. But
So
we
that's
can-
kind of a question to see, like.
we can
If we
definitely
can
look
help
into it.
figure that out.
But I think the state makes it, but they want to help students who really have need, so they continue to want to attach student need to their parents because that's another source of income. Whether it's $1,000 a year or $10,000 a year, they want to use that as a calculation. So it gets
It's a little tricky.
It's a little tricky
Yeah.
because, like some of the students want to be on their own, and they're like, I don't want your taxes, parents,
Yeah.
because that's one of my things. They're like, oh, when I have a 25-year-old, so she used it mad at the time, so she got good amount. But my second one was like, no, mom, I have to pay everything out of my pocket because of whatever you guys are gaining now. So it's kind of like a big difference, right? The first one got her degree almost with everything paid,
Yeah.
and then the second one had to struggle more because of us parents, So it's kind of like wanted to get prepared for my third one because she's like, I think I'll get independent because otherwise I will have to have 2 jobs to be able to cover
Yeah.
my school because of my parents' income.
Yeah, that's definitely something we can look into. Yeah, really good question. So we'll look on that, see what we can do. So lastly, with regards to FAFSA, or DREAM Act, it is now a district requirement, or state requirement, state requirement, yeah, that all students need to apply to FAFSA or California DREAM Act, and if they're not going to apply because they're gonna go work or they're just not gonna go to college, then they do need to opt out and sign a form stating, student and parent need to sign saying, we're not applying to college, we're not gonna do a financial aid application, and here's the letter for it. So if they're not gonna do that, then they need to submit that form, and they can get that from the counselors. If they don't do anything or submit anything, then they can't graduate. So we'll hold their diploma, they won't walk per se, until we either see that they submitted the form, or they submitted their FAFSA or DREAM Act application. So that's now a state requirement, that's gonna change.
Does the parent need to sign that form?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
So we're gonna be aware just in
Yes,
case that happens.
definitely, yes. And we'll give you guys a call as well, because what we do is we give the form, but then we call and say, hey, just so you know, student said they're not applying and they're not doing out their FAFSA application. We sent it with student, please sign and return if that's the case. And we'll have that on file, just in case. Any other questions with regards to FAFSA, California DREAM Act, and that kind of stuff? Another big thing that we have as well that we try to push is our scholarship opportunities. A lot of these scholarships are intended for our seniors, I will tell you that. A lot of the scholarships that we do find are set for 12th grade students, but it is possible to find some scholarships for underclassmen. Just what we try to encourage students is go on websites, check it out, see what they offer. Just be aware, right, that they are legit. If they ever ask you for like money, if they say, oh, give us a $100 deposit and then we'll consider you, you don't want to do that. But before they ever apply, we do say, research, try to find something. If you do, come bring it back to us and we'll check it out and we'll see what they have. Because we want to make sure everything is legit and it's done properly, right? A lot of the scholarships that we do get, we do post them on our Bolsa website. If you go to the Bolsa website, you click on guidance, you will see the scholarships that we have. But like I said, most of them are intended for our seniors. Just because they're the ones that are leaving, they're the ones that are graduating, right? So let me just show you really quickly. If you head over to the Bolsa website, bolsagrande.org, and you click under guidance, and then you go down to scholarships, then you'll be able to see the scholarships that are recommended that we are offering, right? And all of this is monitored by one of our counselors, Ms. Goodwin. She makes sure to go ahead and post all of these and offer them as well to our seniors. And every single time she gets a new scholarship, she posts it to our Google Classroom, so all of our students are notified. Hey, GGEA offered a scholarship. Hey, Edison is offering a scholarship. Hey, the Bill Gates Association is offering a scholarship. That way they are aware of what they have, and they're able to see the deadlines. They're able to see the amount that's being offered. They're able to see everything that's a part of it. One of the bigger ones that we just received is this GGEA scholarship, and I'll show you guys so you guys can kind of see. But we have different. We have the GGEA is our teachers union association. So they are offering 7 different scholarships to seven graduating seniors from our district. So all of our high schools will apply and send in their students. And then there are certain requirements that they need to meet in order to be eligible. So scholarships, yes, we have them. There's a ton available. There's a lot of money that goes unnoticed at times, or nobody takes advantage of it because it's just there. So it's really, really, really cool to take advantage of if that's something that's of interest to our students as well. So again, this Ms. Goodwin just pushed out and launched it to all of our seniors. Said, hey, go ahead and give it a shot. If you're interested, if you qualify, go ahead and apply. So yeah, that's something that we do keep a track of. And again, on our website, we have all the scholarships, and then you can see the amount, you can see when the deadline is, you can see the requirements for it, and the organization that is offering to pay for the students' education. So that's something to, again, keep in mind.
How soon can they apply for scholarships?
Beginning from their freshman year, really anytime, but it has to be available to them. So for a lot of our underclassmen, 9th, 10th, and 11th grade, there isn't a lot available. It might be one like 100, a rare one that pops up, and if it pops up, they can go ahead and apply. A lot of people do say that a lot of the money is unused because a lot of students just don't apply. They just don't do it, and it's just there. So these people just keep their check, they keep their money, and then that's just kind of how it is. So it is available. If students want to research any kind of scholarships, they can check it out and see if anything that pops up. If anything does come up for our freshmen, sophomores, or juniors, and they give it to us, then we'll go ahead and post it and share it. But again, it's very, very rare that we ever really get into it. Most of it is intended for our seniors, and a lot of it will be posted on our website. But again, if they do find anything, they can always reach out to us, and we can go ahead and check on that as well. And then I think that's pretty much it. I don't know if there's any other questions, any concerns, anything you guys want to ask or share. Thank you guys for allowing me to be here, allowing me to share a little bit. If you guys have any questions, reach out. Even if I'm not your student's counselor, feel free to give me a call. I can connect you with the student's counselor. Or if you just have a general question, I can go ahead and try to help you out with that as well. But we have 6 counselors here on campus. They're all amazing. They all do great work. So we got a good team over here. We have a good administration team as well. So Yeah, we're here to support your students, we're here to support you as well. We're here to work together as a team. So if you have any questions, please let us know. Reach out, give us a call, send us an email. Stop by the office. We're more than welcome to sit down with you and have a conversation. Yeah.
Good, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here, and I, you know, future superintendent. All of these things that Mr. Chamu talked about, they're things that we go through all year with your students. When obviously in senior year, they go into all the classrooms, but they start doing this process when your students are in their freshman year. So a lot of times, if you ask your students, what did the counselors come in this year? What did they talk about? They start setting up that account on CCGI. Our district focus for academics, and certainly here at Bolsa, is college and career readiness. So we really try to give all the information that we have to students in both of those areas. And as Mr. Chamu said, these things change from year to year. So maybe you had a senior that graduated a few years ago, that process might be different now. Different GPA requirements for college applications. Every year our counselors go to the Cal State UC conferences to find out what those differences are. Like what classes they need, what they don't need, what combinations of things. So it's an ongoing thing. And we rely heavily on our counselors to get our students that information. They do a really great job. And I also want to make sure to know that our counselors are mental health professionals. They are really our first line of defense when it comes to the well-being of students. When I first came into education, I was a counselor myself. And I will tell you, everything that you just heard, we never heard about that in our counseling prep master's program. That is all things that we learned on the job. Our counseling program really is focused on the mental health and well-being of students. I like to say that school counselors are experts in normal adolescent development. So counselors deal with a variety of mental health issues, from kind of what I call situational depression. Maybe you break up with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, maybe you had a fight with your parents, maybe you have conflicts with your teachers, conflicts with other students. Counselors are really right there in those things to help students through maybe grief, death in the family, the stress of being a student, the stress of life. And so we ask a lot of our counselors, and they're very well trained. They have huge hearts and huge ability, and they are constantly learning and growing themselves. Because, like I said, this academic piece is part of what counselors do, but it's part of what are 4 quadrants of counseling. There's mental health, academics, career, and social emotional. So it's really, really it's a great job, and our counselors do a fantastic job at giving students the things that they need. So in addition to the 6 counselors that we have on campus, we have a social work program. We have a head social worker and a team of interns that can do therapy. So the difference in counselors and what they do to help in mental health and therapy is that counselors deal with those things that are kind of normal situations that adolescents deal with. Therapy then would be more one-on-one, maybe more serious depression, maybe more serious addiction issues, things that are causing more or higher level of disruption to their life. So we have those services on campus as well. I think right now we have over 100 students that have been referred to school-based mental health services. So it's a very active program. One of the things in terms of mental well-being is that we have a room called the Zen Den. We haven't had our grand opening yet, but we're doing some soft openings. And that's a place where students can go to just kind of refocus. We've just kind of furnished it, and we're kind of working out some system so that students can really access it. Well, there'll be activities and different things that students can go just on their own, so that they can take a rest. I think as adults, we do that kind of, hopefully we do that kind of naturally. We take a walk, we close our door, we listen to music, whatever those things. In the middle of the day, we want students to be able to do that also. One of the things that, as you heard the presentation, and as you hear your students at home, is it's very, very stressful to be a high school student right now. We're still dealing with some of the after effects of COVID and lockdown, and kind of re-understanding socialization, re-understanding social interactions. The pressure is enormous to go to college, and it's very competitive. And unfortunately, I always say, I've contributed to that, because we have to tell students, these are the things that you need, right? And we tell the students the absolute things that they need in order to get into college, but it does create some stress in that process. And so we are trying now to provide students with a place on campus, with their counselors, with social work, with assistant principals. We have various teachers also that open their rooms up at lunch and after school, so that students have a place to just relax, unwind, do some activities. Believe it or not, like coloring is a huge wellness activity. So the things that we do in kindergarten, we're finding that for young adults and adults, they're very therapeutic in well-being. So we go back to our childhood. What do? We play, we laugh, we run. And so we look at some of those things as important to embed in the school for opportunities for students. I tell students all the time, if I was in high school right now, I don't know how successful I would be. Mr. Chamu was in high school more recently than I, but I would guess that you would even say it's more stressful and competitive even now as opposed to 10 years ago. So we do everything that we can. We're here, and a huge component, and I will say this every month that we meet is that parents are a part of this process. So if we think about a table with 3 legs, we need all 3 legs for that table to be stable. We do our best at school to stabilize, we need students to stabilize, but we need parents also. So we work together to make sure that students have everything that they need. I will echo again what Mr. Chamu said. Please, if you have questions, concerns, we love to get phone calls. We'd love for you to come and visit. If you just drop in, that's fine. Just know that if we have other appointments, you might have to wait, but certainly make an appointment. Even if you just want to come and say, hey, I just want to get a general idea or understanding of where my student is and what are the next steps for whatever the goal is. We're here to help and to serve you. And you being here this morning, again, in the rain, in the cold, in the traffic, I'm sure that was outside getting in. Thank you for coming here. I recorded the presentation today. I'll send it out to parents. So you'll get it at Parent Square. I'll get those links. If you can give me some links to like the FAFSA website, some scholarship websites, the school website, which you, if you don't know, we'll put that there so they can really explore. And the more you know, guess what? The more questions you have, we'll be here to answer. So, are there any other questions as we close?
One more thing, and really the biggest thing that we're doing right now as well for our underclassmen is we're about to start registration. So if you have any 11th, 10th, 9th grade students, we'll be doing that. Obviously seniors will be graduating, so that won't count for them. But this week, all of the juniors, so if you have any 11th grade students, they should have received their registration form for the following school year. So what they'll receive is that form that has all the classes that they'll be selecting. Please make sure you take a look at that with them, because they do need your signature for it to be valid. And then next week, we'll be meeting with our 11th grade students, those are gonna be seniors. We'll be sitting down with all of them, one-on-one individually. And we'll go ahead and review the classes that they need, anything that they need for graduation, if they're planning to go to Ford University, any CTE programs that we want to do or they might want to take or complete. We'll be going through all of that, making sure we're all set on that. If you have any 10th graders that will be juniors, we'll be meeting with them February 13th through 16th. So our juniors will be from February 5th through February 9th. Our juniors that are coming in, so the current sophomores, will be February 13th to February 16th. And then our freshmen right now, which will be sophomores, we'll be meeting with them February 20th through the 22nd. So those 3 days. And then if you have any other students at like Jordan or Alamitos or any other intermediate school, we'll be meeting with them in the coming weeks as well. Okay? So we'll actually visit those schools, and then we'll go ahead and meet with them, give them an overview presentation of what we offer, and then sign them up for their classes as well. So yeah, that's one of the things that we are working on right now as well. On top of what we're doing with our seniors, we are going to be starting registration with our underclassmen as well.
So juniors, you said 5th?
Juniors. let me
This
see.
week?
Juniors, yeah, next week that's coming up. So the 5th through the 9th.
Okay.
So yeah, all week with them.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's the biggest class, the biggest priority coming up. So, yeah, so if you have that form, if you haven't seen it yet, make sure you do, you sign it, and then make sure you check off with their classes, make sure they're all good to go. Yes.
Cái apply cho đơn xin tiền á là bắt đầu ngày thứ 3, nhưng mà bữa đó con của cô nó bệnh nó nghỉ. Ngày hôm qua thứ 4 á, thì nó học tới tiết 4 nó về rồi thì nó cũng chưa có làm. Thì bây giờ nó sẽ làm vào ngày nào hay là nó tự làm được không?
I just want to get an answer. So, she's just asking her kid missed the application registration date
For next year?
on Tuesday. She said on Tuesday.
Like 2 days ago, Tuesday?
Làm thứ 3 tuần này nó còn.
Thứ 3 tuần này có cái thông báo là bắt đầu làm đơn, nhưng mà bữa đó là dán nghỉ học, không có đi học ở trường. Ngày hôm qua thì nói là có làm tiết 5, nhưng mà xong tiết 4 đi về rồi cũng không có
Oh, she
làm.
said something about the starting of the FAFSA application.
Okay, yeah. So she hasn't started her FAFSA.
Yeah, her kid missed the.
Okay, yeah. No, we'll continue to meet with them. We have a support team known as College Boost, and we have a tracker that we follow everything that students are doing. We'll continue to meet with them. So the students that were absent or weren't there, we'll follow up and we'll make sure they complete that as well. Yeah, so we will take care of that.
Quay lại đăng ký được không? Chưa có trả gì.
Is it for this year that the date changed? Usually opens in October, isn't it?
This year, they said next year it should be going back. And because the date changed, the last day that's submitting now is April 1st instead of March 1st for this year. Usually it's March 1st, but so they said moving into next year, they should go back to regular time, October, and then close in March. Yeah, that's pretty much it on my end, just that registration piece.
Good, thank you. We will thank you for entrusting us with your sons and daughters. We will do our best to treat them like we treat our own, and make sure they get everything they need. So thank you for coming. Make sure you drive safe. Roads are wet. The bell just rang, so there's gonna be a lot of students on campus, so you can actually sit on the other door, so you have to fight that. Thank you.
The account number.